let's all be honest, man. Not all fighting game story modes are created equal, and some are cool, some are sucky, some are good. But this guy right here, Glow Sliv, thinks that fighting games story modes all suck. Why do you think that? Check it out. Without further ado, let's get busy, alright?
Hey, has anyone else noticed how fighting game story modes lately have really sucked? It's like they won't even make a fighting game without these tacked on story modes to make it seem worth the price. This kind of shit is really bothering me, and it's obviously causing some issues. So let me take you through a few games that have come out and explain to you what they're doing wrong. Now, I
Alright?
think that a lot of people see the NetherRealm Studios games as the best story modes we have at the moment. On the surface, everything seems good. They really present themselves almost like blockbuster movies. Something
And that's the key right there. That was the big key. All started with MK9, right? When people saw MK being, coming back full force with a story mode, and that thing was a flat out movie, and you just able to like play characters chapter to chapter. That was a banger right there. And everybody was like, "Yo, with every other fighting game will follow suit, like Street Fighter, Tekken, and everybody like, what know what I'm saying? Everybody else like that." And the truth is, yeah, most of them. But you ain't getting that Street Fighter 6, and I watched all of MK1 story mode recently, and that crap is just. I watched it again. That crap is not entirely good. It's alright in like what fighting game story modes, but bro, y'all saw it. If y'all saw it, you know how bad it is. You know what I'm saying? At the very end, like half of that runtime is quick, kind of decent. To the point where you can't help that MK got the best story mode when it comes to like presentation. Everybody else is like catching up, and ever so barely. Like Tekken, you saw if you can look it up on my channel, bro. Play the whole story mode. I ain't gonna lie, the story was freaking mid.
you could kind of sit down and eat popcorn to. In fact, you could say that Mortal Kombat 9 kind of pioneered the style that most of the story modes that followed would take. I call this the movie like style, and I'm just gonna say it, this is the worst kind. Yes,
What?
they look nice and honestly can be pretty damn enjoyable, but I called them movie like for a reason. They're not really doing much with the video game format. Fucking Injustice 1 does these shitty little mini games where you just press buttons when things show up on screen and
Yeah, Justice One made sure it was still a game first and foremost, and that's like then going to thing. But let's keep it a beam. It wasn't MK9 first. I gotta take something back. It wasn't MK9 like the first like the pioneers like show up like story modes. It was actually Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. They had a story mode. That was like the pioneer, the Project One, like the Demon Souls to the Dark Souls type of beat. You got the project, then you like go with a different like solidified stronger product. That was like M versus DC and that MK9, which is like flesh out the story mode to completion, which is pretty good. I ain't gonna lie.
MKX has reaction commands in its cutscenes, and this is meant to be gameplay.
Damn you!
Does Superman fucking even realize that there's people in those cars? I mean,
Yeah.
Black Adam's just yanking them right off a busy street, and fucking Superman doesn't give a shit. Nothing about this is pushing the envelope on what it means to be the story mode for a fighting game. Fighting games on a surface level are all about characters and pitting them against each other in a fight. Unfortunately, this means that if you're going to make a story in one, you're going to have to get these characters to fight each other so the player can have something to do. The Netherrealm way to handle this is to contrive scenarios where characters are suddenly willing to beat the shit out of each other, often in brutal and unsurvivable ways, only to get up and shake their fist at the winner in the next cutscene.
That's just Mortal Kombat, dude. It's not to be taken seriously. Y'all already know Mortal Kombat, man. It was never taken seriously. MK1 was going to like be like on a serious note, but then again, their tournament setting in MK1 in the story was terrible. Even though you probably have an advantage over the other person like pulling up, but it's not much of a tournament if you have one participant against everybody else. It's literally just Raiden versus the whole one of the strongest guys in Outworld. The last one was Shao Kahn, General Shao, but that was boring, dude. I ain't gonna lie. I saw it, bro. I was like, this is so unimpressive. Bro ran through gauntlets. Raiden ran through gauntlets. I didn't feel nothing about that. That was not traditional tournament type of thing. It's basically Raiden going through survival mode until he's just done. It's basically Raiden going through arcade ladder and just beating everybody up. Except for like what we didn't see. We didn't see Kodo, we didn't see Shiva, we didn't see Motaro. Yeah, this got offspring about to do. And we do know they're around, but we ain't gonna see them like that. So it's like, who cares, right? Who cares? Doesn't matter. And that's the messed up part. And we don't see much of Rain until like the very end of the story itself. And no one cares about Rain no more. Why? Because he already did his part. And there was a point there. I think he could have been a part of the team, like looking for Shang Tsung, but because of like the tournament, people didn't want to see him. He had to like leave. I mean, he didn't have to like stay as he was. He could have like a whole different outfit, like have a mask and just not using whatever, bro. That's the part of the story I don't like at all. It sucks.
There's this one scene in Injustice 2 where Harley Quinn begins hallucinating an image of the Joker back from the dead. This alone is just fine. It even adds a bit of character depth. The problem is that, in a way of symbolically letting go, she proceeds to fight her hallucination. Physically, with punches. And guns. I gotta say, it's almost insulting to me how stupid this is. She's supposed to be...
And the way I'm looking at it, what I heard the rumors is that I don't think Joker was supposed to be back. But because of the prestige of the clown prince of crime, he had to be back because people like him. Listen, we don't. We have a lot of bunch of rogue galleries in the mix, you know. And Batman got a lot of like big hitters as as prestige as the Joker. I don't understand why people in NetherRealm or WB just don't take the roll of the dice and add more people to take the reins. Hugo Strange was like the big bad of like Arkham City, but it was actually Joker all along type beat. And then we have Scarecrow being the big bad, but we still have a little bit of Joker. I didn't like that in Arkham. It's Arkham Knight. I didn't like that at all. We have a bunch of like rogue galleries. We don't need a Joker to be the big number one all the time. It's getting boring. All right, but that's a safer option. The safer option is just safer option is just let Joker cook. Stop letting the Crown Prince cook. We tired of it.
horrified. Her past abuser is coming back from the grave, and she just assumes her silly little idol pose, like it's any other fight. I mean, come on, at least change her idol pose. You have the budget, for fuck's sake. This kind of shit is really hard to take seriously. It just makes the characters seem really immature and stupid. Lately, Capcom has even taken a stab at the story mode shtick. In their most recent fighting games, Street Fighter V and... yeah, that's their most recent one.
Yeah, mind y'all, this video is 5 years ago, man. And that dude is just gone off, like, he just left. He just, bow out. No longer there. He's not posting videos nowadays. It's this Glow guy, Glow Sliv. It sucks, man. I want to talk to him about this stuff. If he's, like, around. If he cares, I don't know. But yeah, it is. It is what it is.
Oh, that was close. The biggest problem with Street Fighter V's and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite story modes is that they both actively detract from the quality of their game, especially Marvel Infinite, considering based on what we know about it, most of the budget went to making this terrible story mode. This basically forced the art team to have the game take on a style more akin to the MCU. Which, by the way, do you think that the masses can't recognize your fucking characters unless they resemble their movie counterparts down to every last pixel of every last texture? Do you have such little faith in not only your own character designs, but also the Capcom artist's ability to render them in a recognizable way? Because you put your grubby cocaine-glazed nose into other people's work, your characters are suffering. Rocket Raccoon has been subjugated to having some poor fucker try to do an impression of Bradley Cooper because you can't trust other people with your characters. Anyway, Marvel Infinite story mode isn't all that bad, to be quite honest. There's actually some really great fan service sprinkled in.
What a crazy rant. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I never played Marvel Infinite because I have standards of playing my fighting games. That's one. Two, I heard the game like really bad. Three is not like a true Marvel versus Capcom successor. Not that, not like that. No. So I'd rather play Marvel Capcom 3 all day, every day than this. Because it didn't, what I heard, it didn't even surpass um Marvel Capcom 3 like that, you know? But, Infinite sucks.
In there with the whole blending of the Marvel and Capcom's lore. There's a few things here and there that kind of make me want to die.
It's an awesome
Yikes.
responsibility. Hey, we're awesome guys. Nice.
But there are some genuine...
I mean, expect what kind of audience you feed your stuff to, right? Like teenagers, bro. Like kids. They see the characters interact. Do they need any depth like that? No! They don't. You know what I'm saying? They really don't. It all turns on the audience. And do they and the audience expect them their characters to speak like, some top quality dialogue? Heck no. As long as they're present, they're interacting, that's good enough for them.
Genuinely cool moments like Ryu and Hulk fighting the Elder Dragon.
About Capcom and right away.
Hulk!
Man. That was kind of cool.
Thanos making a Satsui no Hado gauntlet.
Like, what is wrong with this? I don't know what's wrong with it. Like, it does goofy stuff, bro. It's just goofy stuff. Like, yeah, it does. Like we respect, you know what I'm saying? It's sad. Like, we don't even have like a strong point of like comparison to where we like expect good stuff, like actually good story mode. You know what I'm saying? But with the movie, like Mortal Kombat's still number one.
The Infinity Buster, Ultron Sigma, like all of that shit. And yeah, that's about all that stands out to me. Everything else is just tedious and cringy and borderline entertaining. Clay Fighter 5's story is worse. There's basically nothing of substance here. The problems with the game's art style are on full blast here. The characters have huge hands and their asses are all hanging out. None of the characters are really well represented at all. Particularly Nikali. I still don't get what they were going for with this guy.
They made one Nikali to be the new Akuma. It did not work at all. To make him be a new Akuma, you had to make him as a threat. Because nobody wanted to see their character getting bodied by this Neanderthaler, man. They just have him just be around and be like a goofy monster from Scooby Doo and just chase Zangief and Nash and everybody else to a helicopter. Goofy material, bro. Goofy stuff. And it made me think, yo, why is he around anyway? He's weird. He can't speak no words. That's all it is to you, bro. Shut up, bro. Even in Akuma's arcade, we see like some low quality 2D art that even I can do, and just have Akuma get devoured by Nikali, and Nikali gets burst, by Akuma, like getting out of it. And that was like it, like wow, like they have. I don't know if they really thought that it's gonna be a slam dunk with this character or not. I don't know their intention what to do, but they just tell me that they wasn't confident to going all in, and that's what you don't want to do with your brand new characters. I think SNK does it better than Capcom, like amping up their new characters. Even those guys do it without disrespecting the OGs. Like not too much.
The pacing is bad, the writing is bad, it has next to no redeeming factors. The best thing about it is how they flesh out Rashid as a character, and even that's not very good. Anyway, both of these games actually do one thing that I think is really important in a story mode. They let you fight
Okay, Rashid's story was basically just him looking for a friend, and found him to be the friend who works under Shadow Loop. Well, fortunately, she got clapped by Fang, which in a way, Rashid did get his comeuppance and just got revenge for that friend. He didn't smoke the dude, but he bodied him, you know? But anyone can body Fang. But it just goes to show that a new person like Fang to be a part of the four kings of Shadowloo is just um it's odd, you know? But then again, with the whole poison gimmick, it makes him a dangerous character compared to like Sagat, who like all the technique you have in the world, can that overcome poison itself? Cause that Fang's poison is like disgusting. It's nasty, but people like what? I think Gal and Chun Li can beat Fang no problem because like top fighters like around like who's around Gal's strength, well that's worth. Can't compete with the four kings. Even Armika who can tank Brawlow's punch because muscle spirit and blah blah blah. Not that well explained. And Rashid's thing is okay. It's not bad. It's just okay. He want to know where his friend is at. Found the friend. Found out the friend was like no longer there. It's someone sensible. It's like decent beginning, decent end. It just Rashid was basically the main character of the story in a sense, really enough. But Capcom would never like good with like pushing other main characters in a certain plotline besides Ryu. You know, they'll never got it and never will be got it.
Minion characters. This is something that the Capcom games surpass the NetherRealm games with, in my opinion. In the NetherRealm games, the only people that you fight are other characters in the main roster. But in SF5 and Marvel Infinite, they actually modeled and programmed and created movesets for characters that can't even be played normally. In fact, as some of you may remember, the SF5 story mode featured Urian and Jury as playable characters before they were even on the character select screen. As for Marvel Infinite, there are only a few types of minion characters, and like SF5, they kind of steal a lot of animations.
Okay, I'm not that keen with Infinite, but I am really keen with Street Fighter Five. And Street Fighter Five, the story itself is like it's bad, but like gameplay wise, the fact that you were able to like use characters that's not even in the game like that until y'all buy the season one pass, man, not bad. That's the dope, bro. I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
From the roster characters, so it's not a huge victory, but it's there. And yeah, I guess MKX did a kind of minion character thing by letting you fight characters that weren't playable like ever, and that's cool, but I see this more as a character cock tease than minion characters. I also want to take a sec to acknowledge the best minion character ever.
Nobody move!
Peter is a completely uniquely animated and utterly pointless fodder character that had way too much time put into him considering he'll only be on the screen for 30 seconds. Come on, dude. Oh, whoa, he called the jump. Aha, oh god, he wants me in this corner. Oh, he got me. First hit. I actually meant to whiff that and he walked into it. I hope to see this guy playable in a later game or DLC as a cop who dedicates his life and career and sacrifices his marriage in the name of stopping street fighting across the globe. I could honestly make a whole short video about Peter, but I'll have to save that for another day. SF5 also...
You can't. And you never did, and you never will. It just, it's an and joke. It's an and joke. Like, who cares? Like, putting fodder up to be like, fodder, cool. It's cool. It just, you know, in that same like stage itself, you see Ken like fighting fodder and two, but they're like in a cutscene. I think it's somebody else. When in the cutscene when Ken was just like beating up fodder, and again is like he just one shot all of them to Shin Shoryuken, and that was it. And it's like Mister, I'm gonna hold him. He lives. I'm gonna hold him off. And he just one shot everybody. Like, what are you talking about?
also has very short character stories that basically amount to staring at art that's amazing at some points, but unsettling at others. This would be better if the art styles of the artwork and the game models didn't clash so much. I honestly love this artist style. It's the same guy that did the art for the Alpha games, but it just doesn't fit with SF5.
Alpha?
They start out skinny and stylized and...
Dude, this is outdated type stuff. I'm sorry, dude. The Alpha style is cool back in the day, but this, bro, I couldn't. There's no way. I thought this was kind of amateur, dude. It's some freaking amateur who draw this out. To find out it was the Alpha guy? No. Nah, that's tragic, dude. You got like the PNG in the background, bro. Like, Lazy work, bro. Lazy.
End up buff with massive hands. It looks bad. The Capcom story
Bad
modes are overall
transition,
pretty
yeah.
shitty. SF5's writing makes no sense, and Marvel Infinite really only makes sense in a fan servicey way. They're alright, but definitely not the direction I would take. Next up, we have one of
I
my
mean, Street Fighter 5 was fan service. They put up all the dolls up there, man. All the dolls. Nobody was bumping for dolls to be in this game. We had it there. And it was like they're good as fodder characters too. I forgot about dolls. Yeah, the dolls were like fodder characters as well. I think Ed as well. Yeah, Ed too. I think, maybe. But who cares really? This is whatever.
favorite fighting games of the last year, Tekken 7. There's honestly not a whole lot to talk about here that I haven't already said about the Capcom and NRS games. The biggest problem with Tekken 7's story is that sprinkled throughout, there are sections where this unnamed journalist dully narrates over some uninteresting artwork. This whole character could have been omitted entirely, and the story wouldn't suffer at all. The only purpose he serves is to fill time and to get Heihachi to expose a little bit about his past. But that's it. He does have very loose ties to some of the characters, but they aren't groundbreaking in the slightest. Despite the similarities this has to other games,
Little to no ties, honestly. And who will remember this dude? Huh? Who would care about this dude? No one. He's fodder. He's just a random guy and lives the world of Tekken, and he's supposed to be like the victims of Jin's wrath to destroy the world because Azazel type beat, and his reasoning is just because the world is bad and the world gotta go, which is so stupid. Not even freaking Heihachi would do that. He would not do that at all. Same thing for Kazuya. He would not do that at all. Like it'll be also a stupid idea if you put in the fact that Jin could use the influence of Mishima Zabatsu to make it even worse than it already before. Just not only for that's for the sake of like declare war on the world, but also a deliberate attempt to ruin the reputation of the Mishima Zabatsu to the point that not even Heihachi is like, you know, get back to form. But because he came back in 7 and taking the reins and want to like have the tournament again, even though the tournament just happened with Tekken 6, and now I have a Tekken 7, it just rubbed me the wrong way that everybody just lovingly accept Heihachi's being back to Mishima Zabatsu. Even though everybody should put the thumbs up down and demand Mishima Zabatsu to shut down for good. So what was the reason that Jin said to the world that he's declaring war? The fight he just did. He just declared war, and that was it. Not getting no rhyme reason to everybody. Just think that Jin is just a flat out madman. That was it. It's just weird, bro. It like the disconnect with like the consequence in the game, like in the story, just awkward, bro.
Tekken 7 story mode is kind of fucking awesome. I should say that this is just about the only way they could have made
No,
a story
it's
mode for
not.
this game, while also being able to tell the story that they wanted to tell. In previous Tekken games, they actually put in kind of an arcade beat 'em up section. I never got to play it, but it looks alright, all things considered. But I can't really see this style working for a Tekken game like 7. I give this game a bit more credit because Tekken is a little bit more complicated than most other fighting games, so the story mode that I would make would be considerably harder to do. Tekken 7 probably has the best movie-like story of all the fighting games. It has amazing action,
Nah.
really good cinematography. Akuma is in it, and
It's
is
an anime movie type of thing. It's all anime esque. All that stuff you see is just like straight up Dragon Ball Z nonsense, straight up Baki nonsense, and it just is weird for Tekken. And keep it grounded, like Epo type of grounded.
injected into the lore in a way that makes sense. The best part about it is that they actually made the cutscenes transition smoothly into the gameplay. In every fight, there's some kind of transition, sometimes that even affect the gameplay. Like maybe you have to
Is
sidestep
it
or block at
better
the beginning of
than-
the round so you don't get your shit blown out.
Yeah,
I love
mini
this
game
game,
like that.
but oh
sure.
shit, oh god. And it actually kind of accomplishes the opposite effect that the narration segments do.
Oh yeah,
It keeps things nice.
the Nita crop in Tekken 7, it cannot be blocked. It cannot be dodged. She is meant to get hit every single time. Try it. You will get hit no matter what.
nicely paced. Like, you get the feeling that at any point you gotta put your hands on your controller so you don't get fucked up. In MKX or SF5, there's always a point in the cutscenes where you're kind of sick of having to sit there and watch people fucking talk, but this never really happens in Tekken 7 outside of the journalist sections, which admittedly get a groan out of me when they pop up. Also, the fights are considerably more challenging. A lot of it has to do with the fact that most characters in Tekken have upwards of 60 moves, and you're not just gonna know them when you're forced to play a character that you haven't put any training into. Luckily, they put in a little hotkey so you can easily access some of the better moves at your disposal. Oh. 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 Oh, that's right. Oh. Tekken 7 is overall extremely enjoyable. It has a lot of the same problems that the Capcom stories have, but it kind of makes up for it with awesome moments and really nice transitions. The problem with the movie-like style is that it doesn't allow for much creativity in the video game medium. You're kind of forced to make a standard movie structure with beginning, middle, and end. It's perfectly serviceable, but you don't want your game to be just that. So how can you make a story mode that feels more like a game? Well, first off, don't do it like Guilty Gear. If you don't know, the Guilty Gear Exar games just kind of said, fuck it, with their story.
It's just gonna be
And literally just made it into an in-engine anime movie. And you know what? Fuck it is right. That's fine. I'd honestly rather have that. Just get right to it. Just tell your story and don't pretend you can make some interesting mechanics out of it. Make your movie, add some cutscenes to the arcade mode. I respect that. Speaking of arcade mode, that's basically what they did with the story mode for Skullgirls. You get some cutscene, do a series of fights, get another cutscene, a final boss. Again, whatever, that's fine, I guess. I can't really expect more from an indie dev. It's good that every character...
story mode stuff right there. You know who else does it? BlazBlue. BlazBlue, all of them. Story mode itself, you fight in there, you throw hands, like a little section where I think he says in BlazBlue too, right?
Has their own story mode. It's all fully voiced and well drawn, so there's nothing I can really complain about here. However, if this were the extent of what a fighting game story mode could be, then this video would have no point. The recent obsession of mine, Dragon Ball FighterZ, has actually taken a few good steps towards the kind of thing I'm envisioning, but it also kind of trips up the stairs face first into a pile of dog shit. Basically, you have 3 different arcs, as the game refers to it: hero, villain, and android. Unfortunately, the word arc is a bit misleading here. From the outside, you can kind of see this being 3 completely separate stories, like the arcs from the actual show, or maybe like a Sonic Adventure thing, where you play as different characters in the same story and events intertwine as they unfold. Well, no. Weirdly enough, each arc tells a slightly different version of the same story, but each one takes place in its own continuity? Like in one you play as the good guys.
Yeah, it made me think, like, what is the true story behind Dragon Ball FighterZ? Because all of them don't matter. That's like the tragedy about that crap.
But in another, you play as the good guys and the bad guys. They even have the same villain, Android 21. The main thing that changes from arc to arc is the character that the player is linked to. So when you play the hero arc, you play as a linked soul inside Goku. In the villain arc, you're inside Frieza. And in the android arc, you're inside 18. These are effectively the protagonists of their own story mode, while using the linked soul to contextualize the player's involvement. It's kind of cheesy, but it works. But I just kind of want to comment on this dumb shit. Arxis. Why? Why have all these stories take place in a different timeline? Why not have the different stories intertwine with each other? It can't be that hard to do. Actually, here's why. The player has to fucking win every fight. So instead of creating different paths on the story based on whether you win or lose, or even just have fights that are mandatory to lose, they decided to make it so that the story mode is a breeze no matter who you fight. This story mode is so easy that it's boring. The game has these basically non-existent RPG mechanics that mean absolutely nothing to even a mid-level player. Like, oh shit, it's Kid Buu. He's about 20 levels above me and he's dead. What is the point of having these levels if they don't offer anything substantial to the gameplay? All this affects is the amount of health that the characters have. And when the enemy isn't really all that into blocking attacks, this just becomes a way to practice basic-ass combos. Come the fuck on, man. There's so many better ways to do this. This is what brings me to my solutions. What can be done to make a fighting game story mode worth the player's time? Here are my tips for accomplishing this. 1. Make your fighting game story mode literally anything but a fighting game. Fighting games are at their worst when the player isn't playing another player. So don't make your story mode a series of AI matches or it will get incredibly fucking stale. So you have to make it a completely different genre to keep it engaging for a single player. Here's a couple of examples. In Killer Instinct, the main story mode is a timed text-based strategy adventure with slight elements of deck building and resource management. It allows you to pick whatever characters you want and give them items and abilities that aren't normally accessible in the multiplayer mode. This way, once the...
Yeah, I played Killer Instinct as a demo, but I never played the game itself. Why? It never like to do that. Even though I wasn't like all that interested, I still did it anyway because Killer Instinct I think is just I don't know, bro. It's just strange to me.
The player has mastered their character's movesets, they still have some extra abilities to take advantage of. This mode is also really challenging, so that's a little bit of a plus. The story mode for Super Smash Bros. Brawl is a side-scrolling beat-em-up platformer with puzzle and Metroidvania elements. This basically turns Smash into a Kirby game, with more intellectual properties allowing for more enemies, boss variety, and fan service. It also has slightly branching pathways based on the player's actions in certain levels, creating replayability.
And here's a problem. Yeah, that those games already have like they're in a fighting party game. They're in a party game and a fighting game, and the reason like those mini games exist is like paying homage to the games of everybody else. Donkey Kong, Zelda, Kirby. They already got them assets already made. So to say that to put it in the fighting game is like, dude, if it's like really just a fighting game, it's not gonna like be that simple.
Drop in, drop out co-op, allowing for even more fun
Even
to be had
though
and
they
memories.
did it in like the movie style stuff and just that's like adding more assets to the story mode. Like, hey, like the question I have to you is this: like, do they, if you ever see this, do they need to add more stuff to just be interesting? Because if the movie like game is just all it is, movie like, then and the cost of it to be a story mode is all you need is that, then that's fine. Or have it be a visual novel like Blaze Blue or Unite in Birth. You know what I'm saying? Or even what? DNF Duel. That's a thing. And I play like at least two character stories and they all the same. Like I say at least some of them are the same here and there. It's whatever game. I'm not gonna lie. It's just a DNF Duel story mode is mid. Be 100 with you. But compared to Blaze Blue, 10 like Blaze Blue 10 times more interesting. Even though it could be convoluted because of time shenanigans, it's better.
To be made. These games are still played in the same way as normal, they're just given more and different context. 2. Keep the main cast balanced while allowing the player to unlock boss and minion characters. If your story mode has minion characters, fucking make them shit selectable. Even the boss characters. Don't think for a second about the competitive scene when you implement them. If the character's bad, no one will play them. If it's OP, they'll just ban it. Keep the heart of the cast correctly balanced and let people sift through the extra characters on their own. There's this fucking sick game on the DS called Bleach Dark Souls, which is basically a real-ass anime fighting game with Bleach characters. The reason I bring it up is because this game did the daft thing of not only having minion characters, but allowing you to select them, creating utter chaos. There's a minion character that spawns other minion characters. And guess what? You can even unlock that guy. Generally, these characters were unbalanced and played like shit, but that's what's so great about them. Imagine a world where there's a random from fucking Madagascar that somehow...
So just make it like Mugen. I don't know, bro. I think we passed that. We passed that, man. We are not going back. All this stuff, yeah, that was like someone's downtime. That's people like chilling and whatnot. But nah, all that good stuff, man. Nah, it's just not happening. Action RPG.
3. Make it an action RPG. Fighting games fit perfectly into the mold of a JRPG. Just think about it. There are regular attacks, special attacks, attacks that require a resource, ultimate attacks that require the most resources, multiple characters with all of the above that you can learn and team build with, some of which you'll prefer over others. So if you build your story mode around these elements, you have a recipe for success. Here's a kicker. You know how you have to level up to get spells in JRPGs? Fuck it, do the same thing with special moves. You start out with the basic kit of normals, and when you get to level 2, you unlock the light Hadouken. Next, you get the light Tatsu, then the light Shoryuken. Upgrade that shit so you can use the medium and heavy versions. Eventually, you'll unlock your EX moves, then your super. This allows you to get a...
It's so funny because Dragon Ball Fighters do exactly that. I think they do that. I think they just add like what boosts of attack, boosts of defense, energy, health, stuff like that. But it's like a light.
More intimate understanding. Worlds, we got those. You like random encounters? We got those. All this time, you're playing a fighting game in their own way. This is probably the most important one. Like I said earlier, they're how to play the game at a higher and higher level.
Okay, slowly teach the player how to play the game at a higher level. Story mode, I mean, you don't really need to. Once again, it's story mode. But that's optional.
This is probably the most important one. Like I said earlier, in Dragon Ball's story mode, the enemies are nothing more than glorified training mode dummies. This does nothing to teach the player how to... The level even exists, but they get hit almost every time. Now, you get to the first boss, and all of a sudden, fuck, he keeps blocking my attacks. I can't hit this guy. And you have to burst,
I mean, that's
so I gotta open every time. The level 100 final boss, you're having an EVO Grand Finals level fight, means to have a buff system that's constantly getting XP in every moment of the match. This is teaching you not only how to get good at a fighting game, but how to enjoy getting good in a natural, safe environment. But I just wanted to air my grievances about these story modes that have become far too common. Can we finally start making this shit a little bit more something like this, at least successfully? And I just want to say sorry that it took so long. This video actually took like 6 months to make.
That 22, man. Nah, bro. Um, yeah, that's it, dude. The dude himself is kind of funny. Solo. I'll put the link down in the description. But yeah, in my opinion, I agree with like less than half. I agree with less than half of the things he said. But to be frank, there's no matter what, you always gonna get some some simple stuff, man. What is the least amount of work that a company like Capcom and another one can do to have people engage, even though they just can't do that crap? You know what I'm saying? And the answer is simply just just don't like overcompensate. You don't need to like do what crazy stuff when it comes to like it just strains to me. Let me see the comment section about this video. I ain't gonna lie. I'm curious about that. All right. Yeah, I don't like it. I personally prefer. Okay, some guy says I personally prefer the story to just be arcade mode, where every fighter has the same goal but a separate ending. Oh yes, traditional stuff like that. Yeah, of course, be like that. Another comment says Peter is the greatest fighter, Street Fighter of all time. I don't care. It's a meme. It's a meme. Um, Let me see. Sucker Punch Design has a good video on the subject. Something these games can do is have a versus mode where each character has a certain journey that has a beginning, and then he brought up a good example for interactions in Soul Calibur where dialogue changes depending on who fights, making each encounter an experience. This way, you don't have to worry about cinematic story with so many characters to account for. I just thought of an example where in Marvel vs. what Capcom, where Deadpool has a mission where he wants to be taken more seriously. He'll fight characters who know him, like Wolverine, will have something to say so that they agree or disagree on. Eventually, he meets Dante at the end, who is similar to him, a character that is goofy, who doesn't worry about being taken seriously. After meeting Dante, Deadpool learns to be himself. I mean, you can get that in any other like movie, like story mode game. You know, it will happen, but then you will lose after the fact because you're playing another character. You know what I'm saying? What else is there? The last idea would also negate the need for tutorial, which also suck in fighting games for various reasons. Yeah, the whole thing, like let things go crazy with the the story mode being like a slowly but surely teach you how to fight. It just makes no sense. I don't like that. Never like that. Okay, the last one. If you don't like the movie like style, don't even look at Guilty Gear. That gives you literally a 3 hour actual movie with no gameplay. Yeah, like I said, that's pretty much it, dude. I don't yeah, I don't like this. Um, I like the idea of like the no, the critiques of story modes and spying games to be an actual thing. I think we should talk about that more, especially with the downfall of both Tekken 8 and Tekken not Tekken. Mortal Kombat 1. Yeah, definitely. We gotta talk about that more. The only thing I'll say that Tekken 8 have more than Mortal Kombat 1 is the fact that you this is a linear story with the Mishimas and with the action with Jin was evolving as he fights until he had to go back to the fundamentals of each and every style he getting from first having the Mishima and then his karate, then his mother going back to the roots, you know, with the Kazama style and making him like a stronger version of himself to a point that he's able to access all the moves of the past and make him like a stronger fighter, you know. And this could be Jin throughout, like the newer games that come out in the future, where Jin just use all of the techniques he has, and all you gotta do like press a button and then like think about like a style you want to go into. It's just like it'll be like a traditional fighting game, right? Like an anime style, like Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue type beat, you know. And about the Guilty Gear thing, I'm not gonna lie. I like the story mode type beat. It's there for us to consume. And I don't know, you guys heard about the new like the trailer for like the new Guilty Gear anime? Yeah, that's definitely happening. Like I think this year or next year. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that. Gonna make a review about that in the future when it hits. I ain't gonna lie, I like the fact that we see Soul again, but he's accompanying Sin throughout his adventures, and the person you fighting against is just like another biking. They hate Gears and blah 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 blah. But then they'll find out like, oh, Gears not all so bad and blah blah blah. Stuff like that. I'm not gonna lie, it's boring. You know, it's like not all Gears are bad, but not all Gears are good. It's like it's the same argument you have. Like, are all people bad because this person just just a jerk or what? You know. So when it comes to like no matter story mode and fighting games, companies nowadays will just go with the thing that is like familiar and easy. But then again, if it was like that gonna be it'll be that kind of easy. It'll be just like either something I want to play so called or story mode and see what's what. And Killing Instincts. Just want to try them. I want to try them. See what's what. But yeah, more combat thing is still like some mid-ish, but besides the fact of the ending of MK1 with the whole you could choose your character to find this multiversal war. You don't care about spoilers. You didn't see that? That's your fault. Um, yeah, that wasn't even good. That wasn't even good. Bro. It just straight up left field type beat, and so that's like not good compared to Tekken. The Tekken have like a linear story where it just, even though how stupid it is, how dumb like the motivation for every character is, um, I'll say it's still better than like in the grand scheme of things compared to Mortal Kombat. So what are your guys' thoughts, man? When it comes to like having story modes, do you like the movie style or will you like other styles? The guy mentioned. Personally, I like the action RPG elements because we do get that in freaking um fighters. That happened in fighters, but it ain't that good. But the idea is still there. You know what I'm saying? I for one who want a monopoly. And imagine a fighting game story mode, but it's monopoly, bro. You just rolling the dice and get something about it. You just get something. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't have like an RPG type of thing where it's just like you have a hub and you just like going in type beat, enemy after enemy type beat, and yeah, yeah. Just tell me about that, bro. All that down in the comments below. I'm gonna see y'all later. All right. So y'all be safe, be easy, and be chill.